Feilu Novel Network exclusive contract novel. Hong Kong Island. Shaw's illegitimate son, a century-old wealthy family. Reborn in 1979, he became the son of film and television tycoon Shaw Yifu's illegitimate son, Shao Donghai. The Shao family was bustling with flowers and boiling oil. When Shao Donghai passed by, his mother and son relied on each other, living in poverty and misery. Fortunately, you have obtained the Kaizong Ancestral Establishment System. As long as you start building your own family, you can receive system rewards. Shao Donghai spent 3 years initially establishing his own Shao family, completely defeating his father Shao Yifu's film and television kingdom. Of course, this is just the beginning. While building his own entertainment empire and dominating Xiangjiang's global expansion, Shao Donghai has also begun to enter the real estate industry, seizing a large amount of land in Xiangjiang and calling it Shao Bancheng. Shao Donghai is not only satisfied with the real estate and film and entertainment of Hong Kong Island. He is also the earliest Hong Kong business giant to enter the mainland. He gradually entered the home appliance industry, electronics industry, automobile manufacturing industry, as well as the aircraft manufacturing industry, shipbuilding industry, and even the military industry. He wants to grow together with his own country. To build an enduring millennium-rich family. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The Kaizong Ancestral Establishment System is triggered, seeking collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On an autumn morning in 1979. Hong Kong Island. Outside the gate of Shaw Brothers Film Company, a middle-aged but charming woman named Xiangjiang was admonishing the tall and handsome boy in front of her. Donghai, you must have a better attitude when meeting your father this time. Say a few good words to him. After all these years, it's really not easy for us women. We've been working hard for so many years, isn't it just for this day? The middle-aged Xiangjiang's name is Meiyun, and she became popular on Hong Kong Island for a while 20 years ago. But then suddenly disappeared without a trace. The main reason for Meiyun's sudden disappearance was actually being snowed away by Shao Shi. She was snowed away because she was pregnant with Shao Yifu's child. Shao Yifu's concubine Fang Yihua used some means to suppress him. The handsome boy's name is Shao Donghai. He is an ungrateful child. From birth to now, he has not been recognized by Shao Yifu. Now he is 19 years old. 2 years ago, he only dropped out of high school and has started working in a business firm. Today, through Meiyun's unremitting efforts, Shao Yifu finally planned to meet Shao Donghai. Well, Meiyun brought Shao Donghai to the headquarters of Shaw Brothers Film. What Meiyun didn't know was that a soul from the 21st century had already been replaced inside Shao Donghai's body. Shao Donghai never dreamed that he would wear it back in 1979. Moreover, he also dressed as the illegitimate son of the film and television tycoon Shao Yifu. What made Shao Donghai feel frustrated was that it had been a month since he had worn it, and his golden fingers had not yet reached their intended position. Regarding Shao Yifu, Shao Donghai has no complaints. On the contrary, he still has a little respect for it. Because before he came over, the library on campus of the university he attended was the Yifu building. It was donated and built by Shao Yifu. Mr. Shao Yifu is the most virtuous person on Hong Kong Island. For decades, he donated and built countless Yifu buildings in the Dragon Kingdom. This indicates that the old gentleman still has a sense of patriotism. However, Shao Donghai also knows that Shao Yifu is quite stingy towards himself and his employees and subordinates. I haven't recognized Shao Donghai's mother and son for nearly 20 years, but now I suddenly called each other. Is it a discovery of conscience? Shao Donghai followed his mother to the Shaw Brothers Film building. The one who came out to receive him was undoubtedly Fang Yihua. Fang Yihua said expressionlessly, "Mr. Shao is currently in a meeting." He asked me to come and talk to you first. If you have any requirements, feel free to let me know. Fang Yihua looked at Shao Donghai while speaking. Shao Donghai is tall and over 1.8 meters tall. He has a handsome appearance, and some features of Shao Yifu can be seen between his eyebrows and eyes. Fang Yihua thought to himself, this is undoubtedly Mr. Shao's blood and blood. Fang Yihua has been with Shao Yifu for decades. Now that she has almost reached the age of destiny, she has never had her own offspring. This is a lifelong regret for her. Shao Yifu is now 72 years old, and she is also 45 years old. It is very likely that she will never want to have her own child with Shao Yifu in this lifetime. So, Fang Yihua is also reflecting on herself. Why is fate so unfair to her that she has no offspring? Nowadays, Shao Yifu has completely broken away from all of his children due to his exclusive favor of Fang Yihua. Fang Yihua is anxious. What should he do after 100 years? With such a large foundation, Shaw Brothers Film cannot even have an heir, can it? This is the main reason why Fang Yihua ultimately decided to persuade Shao Yifu to meet Shao Donghai. As long as Shao Donghai's character are acceptable. So, Fang Yihua doesn't mind letting him return to the Shaw family. Of course, Fang Yihua actually doesn't have such high expectations for Shao Donghai. She always feels that children raised by small households are inevitably prone to various bad habits. She still looks down on Shao Donghai and her son from the bottom of her heart. Miss Fang, we dare not make any demands, said Mei Nation with a slightly pleasing smile on her face. I just hope you can give Shao Donghai a chance now. Let him enter Shaw Brothers film industry for development, if we can cultivate him well and help him succeed. That way, I will be satisfied. Fang Yihua nodded and glanced at Shao Donghai, who had been silent for a while, saying, Shao Donghai, what about you? What are your requirements? Shao Donghai was about to answer when a system prompt sounded in his mind. Ding! The founding Ancestor system has been triggered. Now the host has two options. First choice. Recognize your ancestors, recognize Shao Yifu, and become the heir of Shao's film industry. If the host makes this choice, this system will automatically uninstall, and everyone will be safe from now on. Second option. Establishing an ancestor. Build your own family and become the founder of your own family. The system will reward your family with a founding fund of 5 million Hong Kong dollars. At the same time, you will also receive a beginner's gift pack. Shao Donghai was very surprised. He didn't expect that seeing Fang Yihua would trigger the appearance of the system. The first choice seems to be a better choice. Because now Shao Yifu is 72 years old and has fallen out with all his other children. Shao Donghai has the opportunity to inherit Shao Yifu's massive family business worth billions. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Refusing to recognize my ancestors, I want to establish my own door. You are listening at novelfull.audio. However, after a deeper analysis, Shao Donghai understood that it may not be so easy for him to inherit the Shao family. Because Fang Yihua is too dominant and difficult to match. Both of Shao Yifu's sons have broken ties with their father, and are closely related to Fang Yihua's dominance. Moreover, Shaw Brothers Film is not unique to Shao Yifu himself. There are a large number of shares in the Shaw family here. Other family members are eligible to receive dividends. If you work hard on your own, it is very likely that you will end up making wedding clothes for others. Without hesitation, Shao Donghai made a choice. I choose to establish my own family and establish my own sect. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have made the wisest choice. You have received a family founding fund of 5 million Hong Kong dollars. Next, the system will reward or punish you based on your performance when meeting Fang Yihua and Shao Yifu. Shao Donghai's spirit lifted. Has he received the 5 million Hong Kong dollars family founding fund? This was definitely a lot of money in 1979. On Hong Kong Island today, you can buy a 60.70 square meter house for 200,000 yuan. Many people earn less than 1,000 yuan per month. Shao Donghai knows how to answer Fang Yihua. He gave Fang Yihua a faint glance and said, I have no demands. I won't seek the position of heir. I wouldn't humbly beg for a position at Shaw Brothers. This statement is a bit tough. Fang Yihua's eyebrows furrowed. She hopes to establish a good relationship with Shao Donghai. But now it seems that this young man's attitude is not too good. Ding. Congratulations to the host. You have obtained one computer with Win7 system. The system's prompt sound is on. Shao Donghai discovered that there was an additional Win7 system assembly computer in the system's item list. He couldn't help but be overjoyed. This thing was definitely a good thing in 1979 and could do many things. It seems that the founding Ancestor system requires oneself to be thoroughly cut by Shao Yifu and then form its own system. Donghai, how can you talk to Miss Fang? Apologize quickly. Mei Nation on the side was frightened. She thought to herself, why is this child so immature? I have already explained it so clearly. He still wants to provoke Fang Yihua. Shao Donghai shook his head and said, Mom, although we are poor, we must have backbone. After Shao Donghai finished speaking, he said to Fang Yihua again, I came here this time to say a word to Mr. Shao in person. I can rely on my own hard work to create a career. I, Shao Donghai, never wanted to go and enjoy the shade of the Shao family. Pop, pop, pop. Ding. Congratulations to the host. You have obtained one computer with Win7 system. The system prompt sounds again. This gave Shao Donghai great motivation. Fang Yihua began to applaud and said with a sneer on her face, okay. You have backbone. Originally, Mr. Shao and I had already discussed and wanted you to recognize your ancestors and return home. But now, it seems unnecessary. Mei Nation standing next to her was simply furious. She angrily cursed, Donghai, what the hell are you doing? When I came, didn't I tell you everything? Why are you so disobedient? Shao Donghai quickly comforted his mother, Mom, don't be angry. My son doesn't disobey you. I just feel that in a lifetime, what people strive for is one breath. So many years have passed, and they ignored us. But now he suddenly calls us over to talk. So what's there to talk about? I, Shao Donghai, don't need anyone's pity. I don't want to rely on prayer to get development opportunities. I can definitely use my own hands to create a completely unique world on Hong Kong Island. Ding. Congratulations to the host. You have obtained 5 computers with the Win7 system. The system will provide a reward again. And the reward has been increased. Nowadays, Shao Donghai is even more confident, and the 5 million yuan family foundation fund is where Shao Donghai's confidence lies. With this 5 million, he can truly start his own business. Squeak. The door of the reception room was pushed open at this moment. Shao Yifu walked in with his hands behind his back. He has a very unpleasant complexion. He had already heard everything Shao Donghai said outside just now. Mei Nation was very frightened. She bowed and said, Hello Mr. Shao. Shao Yifu snorted, and the other party Yihua and Mei Nation said, You two go out for a while. Fang Yihua hesitated for a moment, but still went out with Mei Nation. Now, there are only 2 people left in the room, Shao Donghai and Shao Yifu. Shao Yifu walked over to the sofa and sat down with great skill. Shao Donghai, on the other hand, sat on the sofa just now and never stood up. In Shao Yifu's eyes, this is a manifestation of not having a private tutor. Shao Yifu glanced at Shao Donghai. He found that Shao Donghai in front of him really had some resemblance to himself. This is my own son, no doubt about it. Chapter 3. Zhan Aogu wins system rich rewards, seeking. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Shao Yifu has always been a very domineering person. He never forgets anything he does. He said calmly, Shao Donghai, it seems that you have a big opinion of me. Shao Donghai crossed his legs and said, I have no objection to you. Shao Yifu said, since that's the case, why are you carrying such a big emotion? Shao Donghai said, that's because what I hate the most in my life is the kind of man who doesn't take on any responsibility and is ruthless towards BDO. A man must have a sense of responsibility. If you make a mistake, then be brave enough to take responsibility. Instead of passively avoiding. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained 2 sets of large dot-scale laser typesetting color printing equipment from the 21st century. The system will provide a reward again. Shao Donghai is even more excited. What is the system doing? Let me run a printing factory. No, with a printing factory, you can actually run magazines, publishing houses, and so on. Shao Donghai scolded Shao Yifu a few times. Speak of Shao Yifu with a flushed face. How could this son be so eloquent? Shao Yifu said, is it not good to just let the past pass? Donghai, I think our father and son should have a good conversation. What ideals do you have in the future? I can help you achieve them. Shao Donghai waved his hand and said, there are some things that can never be passed. My ideal is simple. I want to make a career more successful than you. I want to establish a stronger family alone than your Shaw clan. Ding. Congratulations to the host. You have obtained the entire 8th floor office building of Central Tower. Shao Donghai's heart trembled for a moment. This reward is too awesome. Central is the CBD of Hong Kong Island, which is the area with the highest land and housing prices. The entire floor of the central building is an office building, which means that his biggest obstacle to starting a company has been cleared. Shao Yifu pursed his lips. He finally understood. His son is ambitious and even has some unrealistic ideas. Shao Yifu smiled and said, what do you mean? Are you not planning to join Shaw Pictures? Are you planning to start your own business? The key is. What are you starting a business with? Child, you haven't been beaten by life. Entrepreneurship is not that easy. How about this? You tell me your plan to start a business, and if your plan is good, I am willing to give you some funds to help you achieve your dreams. What Shao Yifu is thinking is that now Shao Donghai's stomach is still full of resentment towards himself. So, it's not easy to reconcile with Shao Donghai now. Why don't you take it slow? First, support his entrepreneurship. Then you can secretly observe what exactly this illegitimate son is like. Shao Donghai smiled lightly and said, thank you. No need. I have my own funds. There's also real estate and equipment. Through my own hard work, I have also gained a small portion of my financial resources. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you will receive 3 Win7 computers. The system has once again sent rewards. Shao Yifu was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Shao Donghai to be so tough. This child has a temper. However, this can also be considered a good thing. But what did he say? He has funds, real estate, and equipment. This is not quite right. A young person at the bottom who wants to build their own foundation within a few years. Unless you win the first prize in the 6 Harmony lottery, that's possible. Is he talking angrily or is he suffering from delusions? Shao Yifu smiled and said, well, if you don't lack funds, I can help you provide some talent. There are still quite a few management talents here. Shao Donghai shook his head decisively and said, I'm sorry. I can handle it myself. I don't need you to provide anything. The family I want to create myself in the future will definitely be stronger than your Shao family, 100 times stronger. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have won the electronic version of 5 classic manga works of the Football Chicken. Shao Donghai has once again received significant rewards. He was overjoyed in his heart. He pulled out his own system properties panel and looked at the storage column. Originally, this place was empty. Now it is a dazzling array. The 5 classic manga books of the Football Chicken mainly include Basketball Master, High Thief, Conan, Firefly, and Jinju. They are all classics among the classics. If you take all the copyrights of these comics into your own hands, it would be billions of dollars in benefits. Shao Yifu felt a bit helpless. At the same time, he also looked at Shao Donghai more impressively. This child is not greedy for money, has aspirations, and looks very hardworking. He is a good child. If I could have known earlier and cultivated a father-son relationship with him earlier. It's not as if their relationship has become so rigid. But who can be blamed for this? Shao Yifu smacked his lips, feeling a bit unwilling. He said, Donghai, can you call me daddy? Shao Donghai shook his head decisively and said, no. I'm not used to calling it that way either. Since I can remember, I haven't had a father. So, this word has been deleted from my place. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have obtained 5 electronic versions of the classic manga of the Football Chicken. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Starts with manga magazines. Seeking freshness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shao Yifu was furious. You. He was furious, pointing at Shao Donghai and wanting to go berserk. Shao Donghai looked at Shao Yifu calmly and said, Mr. Shao, don't be angry. Anger can harm the body. Shao Yifu sighed. He shook his head and thought to himself, this must be a punishment from heaven for me. Great. Your very backbone. Shao Donghai, I will continue to follow you. I hope you don't disappoint me. Shao Yifu thought to himself, perhaps by providing him with some help during his setbacks, our strained relationship should be alleviated. Shao Donghai stood up, nodded and said seriously, at most 3 years, I can surpass you. You can definitely see that day. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have obtained 1 bodyguard-type warrior. Congratulations to the host. You have successfully completed the assessment of this system. Shao Donghai originally wanted to talk more to Shao Yifu and offer some rewards, but after listening to the improvement of the system, he felt that there might not be much fuel left in the future. So, after Shao Donghai finished speaking, he stood up and left. Outside the door, Mei Nation and Fang Yihua stood there. Mei Nation looked worried. She is worried that her son will ruin everything. Mom, let's go, Shao Donghai said. Mei Nation hesitated for a moment and apologetically said to Shao Yifu, Mr. Shao, he is still young and cannot speak. If he says something wrong, please bear with him. Shao Yifu smiled and said, the child is very good. I apologize to you in the past. Nation, don't blame him even if you go back. For children, we should encourage them more. Mei Nation was a bit flattered. God. Is this what Shao Yifu said? Thank you, Mr. Shao. Then, let's go first. Shao Donghai and his wife left. As Shao Yifu watched the two walk away, he shook his head and sighed, this child is really good. I didn't pay enough attention to him in the past. Fang Yihua frowned. She said softly, Mr. Shao, it's all my fault. I was too lacking in tolerance back then. Shao Yifu said, everything is over. I don't blame you either. Pay attention to Shao Donghai and see what he wants to do. When necessary, give him some help. Shao Donghai went back with his mother, and along the way, he inevitably faced complaints from his mother. Shao Donghai remained calm and composed, explaining with a warm smile. "Mom, I have my own reason for doing this. Don't worry. Starting from tomorrow, I will establish my own company. Your son is no worse than anyone else. Don't work so hard in the future, just focus on enjoying your happiness at home." Mei Nation said angrily, "Without capital and connections, why do you start your own company? Please let me rest. If I really want to rest, we'll probably starve to death. I won't say much about you, I'll go do something. You go back and reflect on yourself." Mei Nation is going to work. She is currently holding 3 jobs. The purpose is to earn more money. Give your son a good future. Shao Donghai hopes his mother can help him start a business together. But Mei Nation obviously didn't quite believe what Shao Donghai said. There's no way, Shao Donghai can only showcase his strength. He first took his mother to the bank, where he reprinted his passbook. Mei Nation saw that there was an additional deposit number on the passbook. "It's 5 million. Ah. Son, how did you get this money? You shouldn't have done anything illegal, right?" Mei Nation was about to be shocked. Shao Donghai smiled and said, "Mom, I shouldn't hide it from you. In fact, I won 10 million yuan in the lottery recently. The other 5 million has already purchased an office building and a factory building. Starting a company, I'm not just joking around." Shao Donghai whispered to Mei Nation. Mei Nation sighed deeply and said, "Son, are you too lucky? Are you hiding from me too tightly? However, I believe that with this money, we should first buy our own housing and then marry you a wife. You shouldn't have invested. We are not the material for doing business at all." Shao Donghai smiled and said, "Mom, I have to criticize you. You are looking at people through the cracks of the door and have underestimated me." Then, Shao Donghai took his mother to take a taxi to see the office buildings on the central tower. This office building has a huge area of over 1,000 square meters and can accommodate hundreds of people without any problems. Moreover, office equipment and the like are basically all equipped. Mei Nation felt that she didn't quite know her son anymore. "My son is quiet, but he has done something big." "Son, what company are you planning to start?" Mei Nation asked. Chapter 5 is about creating big gimmicks. Begging for flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shao Donghai smiled slightly and said, "I'm planning to open a publishing company. I've already thought of a company name, and it's called Shao Shihua Wei Publishing Company." Mei Nation was a bit disappointed and said, "Publishing company, what can I do for you?" Shao Donghai thought for a moment and said, "Mom, why don't you just become the office manager and help me manage some logistics work?" Mei Nation's current job is as an office administrative clerk, and she still has a good understanding of the process. She is only in her 40s this year. Age really cannot be considered old. So, the idea of letting her enjoy herself at home is really not a good idea. Let her be busy so that she can have some leisure time on her own. Alright. Let's work hard together. Strive to make our company successful. I can't let that woman Fang Yihua look down on me either. Right. Mei Nation said excitedly. She thought that since her son wanted to work hard, she must become his best helper. In fact, there is also a fire in her heart. Mom, let's work together. I hope that in 100 years, the Shaw family I founded can surpass them. A slight sense of urgency arose in Shao Donghai's heart. I need to take action quickly to get things done. He now has 5 million yuan in family founding funds. Moreover, the system also gave him a lot of rewards based on his reaction when facing Shao Yifu. The main rewards are as follows. The first one rewarded him with 2 sets of large laser typesetting color printing equipment. At this time, it is definitely the most advanced printing equipment. Not only is the printing speed fast, and the printing quality is also very good. The second reward. He was given 1,000 square meters of office space on the 8th floor of the busiest central building on Hong Kong Island. For him, this is already sufficient in the early stages of entrepreneurship. When one earns a lot of money in the future, they can purchase a large amount of land and then build the family business building of Shaw Brothers Huawei Company. The third reward. 10-foot basin classic comic e.books. This is a good thing. In his past life, Little Devil's comics were popular around the world, cultivating countless fans, and the global economic benefits were estimated to be in the billions. Of course, publishing comics and making animated movies are just the starting stages of his career. Fourth reward. 10 computers with Windows 2007 operating system, equipped with various typesetting and design software. With this thing, making anime movies saves a lot of trouble. However, there are currently very few talents who use computers for anime production. I'm afraid I still need to cultivate myself. In the next few days, Shao Donghai and his mother were busy. Mainly busy with two things. The first one is recruitment. The second is to establish a printing factory. These two things can be crossed over. Shao Donghai personally took action and rented a factory in Yau Ma Ti on Hong Kong Island, installing the large printing equipment rewarded by the system inside. Meanwhile, Mei Nation went to apply for business licenses and other procedures for the printing factory and publishing house. Shao Donghai personally designed a job advertisement using CorelDRAW on the computer where the system rewards him. He studied painting in college in his previous life. He is basically proficient in using various graphic design software. Of course, it's not that professional. The recruitment advertisement design was completed, and he specifically showed it to Mei Nation. Mei Nation praised her beauty. "Son, I didn't expect you to be so amazing. You painted too well, right? Where are you planning to place this job advertisement?" Mei Nation asked. Shao Donghai smiled and said, "How is it on the front page of Dongfang Daily?" Mei Nation was taken aback and said, "That would cost a lot of money, wouldn't it? I heard that the advertisements in Dongfang Daily are the most expensive, with the front page column costing 30,000 to 40,000 yuan. Shao Donghai smiled and said, "Mom, where to place a job advertisement is actually a manifestation of the company's strength. We are a new company, and to attract high-end talents, we not only need to pay high salaries. And it's important to make potential job applicants realize that we are a powerful company. Spending tens of thousands of yuan to promote oneself is actually quite good. Taking advantage of this opportunity, it also happens to promote and advertise the Flower Youth manga magazine we are going to publish. It can also be considered as killing two birds with one stone." Mei Nation was quickly convinced. She said, "Son, I don't understand what you're doing, but I think it makes sense. You dare to do it." A day later, Shao Donghai placed a half-page job advertisement on the front page of the Oriental Daily newspaper. The theme of the advertisement is, Shaw Brothers Huawei Group is investing heavily in recruiting talented individuals. The main recruited talents include management talents, design talents, editorial talents, and printing factory technical talents. Of course, there are two directions for recruiting talents. One is the editor, proofreader, editor-in-chief, and other talents needed for the magazine, Flower Youth Comics Weekly. The other is the management and technical talents that printing factories need. The advertisement immediately attracted huge attention throughout Hong Kong. The new book urgently needs support. Seeking flowers, evaluation tickets, collection tickets, monthly tickets. Chapter 6. Famous director Wang Sanri. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Because Oriental Daily is the newspaper with the largest circulation on Hong Kong Island, selling millions of copies per day. The half-page advertisement on the front page costs over 100,000 Hong Kong dollars. Even the top companies on Hong Kong Island are generally reluctant to do so. After all, it's just recruitment, and it can also have a recruitment effect in the information section, right? So, when this advertisement was launched, the people of the entire Xiangjiang were attracted. Many high-end talents are somewhat eager to move forward. Because the Shaw brand is quite famous on Hong Kong Island. Everyone thinks that this is a new company established by Shaw brothers. This advertisement also made Fantastic Youth Comics Weekly known to people all over Hong Kong at once. This preheating is done quite well. On this day, people throughout Xiangjiang were discussing the advertisement of Shaw's Huawei Group. Of course, as soon as the advertisement was launched, Shao Yifu saw it. Shaw Huawei Group. Is this the company that Shao Donghai is going to establish? Fang Yihua nodded and said, yes. Shao Yifu shook his head and said, the momentum is quite strong. However, his behavior is completely irrational. In the early stages of the company's development, spending so much money on advertising in Dongfang Daily is a great waste. Are you really young? I don't know if the sky is high and the earth is thick. I can't figure it out. How much capital can he have to squander like this? Xiaofang, send someone over to investigate his situation. If you discover a loophole in his investment, you can use it as a stumbling block to bankrupt him. I have to make him have no way out. Then come back obediently and beg me. Shao Yifu spoke confidently, confident that he could have 100 means to deal with Shao Donghai. If a little furry child cannot be subdued, what face does he have to hang out on Hong Kong Island? Fang Yihua naturally readily agreed to Shao Yifu's request. On the second day after the job advertisement was posted, many people came to interview. After all, the salary offered by Shao Donghai is still quite competitive. In 1979, the average salary on Hong Kong Island was around 2,000 Hong Kong dollars per month. A 70 square meter apartment in Tai Koo City on Hong Kong Island costs only 200,000 Hong Kong dollars. The most ordinary job position offered by Shao Donghai earns a salary of 2,500 Hong Kong dollars. The salaries of the managers and factory directors in the publishing company and printing factory have been raised to 8,000 Hong Kong dollars. This is a rare high salary. As long as the salary is given high enough, excellent talents can always be attracted. Shao Donghai personally recruited an administrative personnel manager, as well as the chief editor of the publishing house and the factory director of the printing factory. During the interview, Shao Donghai unexpectedly met several acquaintances. At around 11 o'clock in the morning, a man with a flickering gaze walked in. At first glance, Shao Donghai felt that the other person was a bit familiar. Mr. Shao, this is my resume. The other party handed a resume to Shao Donghai. Shao Donghai glanced and was surprised. Wang Sanri. Wang Sanri is the director who collaborates the most with Xingye. Starting from a gambler, the two have collaborated on 10 or 20 films. Some people say that Wang Sanri is the king of bad movies. That's mainly because he produces high yields. The filming speed is fast and there are more bad films. But in fact, there are also many classics that Wang Sanri has captured. Shao Donghai asked calmly, have you worked as a screenwriter before? Wang San nodded nervously and said, yes. However, what I really want to be is a director. But there was never a chance. Shao Donghai smiled and said, so why did you think we came here to apply? We are hiring editors or editors-in-chief. Wang Sanri scratched his head and said, I have a good foundation in writing. It's not a problem to be an editor or even the chief editor. These are some scripts I wrote in the past, 2 of which have already been made into movies, and the market response is quite good. Wang Sanri took out 2 scripts from his bag and handed them to Shao Donghai. Shao Donghai took a glance and said, I can hire you, and I can give you a decent salary. But you have to be honest with me. Wang San was stunned for a moment. He thought to himself, did the other party see something? This shouldn't be. I'm a bit confused, Wang Sanri stuttered. Shao Donghai said, there are many things hidden from your resume. For example, your father Wang Tianlin is a director at Shaw Brothers Film Company. You are actually also serving Shaw Brothers Film. Why conceal it? Shao Donghai looked at Wang Sanri with a fierce gaze. Wang San was momentarily confused. He didn't expect that the other party would know him. How could this be possible? Wang San's forehead is sweating a bit. Oh, He doesn't know what to say. Shao Donghai smiled lightly and said, who brought you here? What is the purpose? Wang San wiped the sweat off his forehead and said, since you have shown me, then I have nothing to say. But on behalf of others, I cannot betray others. I'm leaving first. Chapter 7. This is the first cornerstone of the entertainment empire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After he finished speaking, he wanted to turn around and escape. Shao Donghai smiled and said, it was Shao Yifu who sent you over. He wants to spy on the situation here, right? Wang stopped at the door on the third day. He turned around and glanced at Shao Donghai, saying, I didn't say anything, you guessed it all by yourself. Shao Donghai smiled and said, You're very interesting. Mr. Wang, you want to become a director, but at Shaw Brothers, it's not very realistic for you to want to rise to the top, is it? But I can give you a chance. I can give you creativity. I can also invest in you. I can let you unleash your talents. Wang Sanri's eyes lit up and he said, Mr. Shao, is what you said true? Shao Donghai smiled slightly and said, I promise to do what I say. In fact, I am also planning to establish a film company. Because I want to defeat Shao Yifu. Wang Sanri scratched his head with a slightly conflicted expression on his face and said, the film industry on Hong Kong Island is basically monopolized by Shaw Brothers. Most cinemas are owned by Shaw Brothers. The filming location is also theirs. Even organizing a crew without the consent of the Shao family would be very difficult. Shao Donghai smiled and said, Shao Shi can't actually cover the sky with one hand. Without Shao Shi's cinema, there are other companies' cinemas. I think you don't need to worry about this issue at all. Wang San frowned and considered for a while, then shook his head with a bitter smile and said, I will consider it. Shao Donghai said, I'll give you a base salary of 10,000 yuan. After the movie sells well, you can still have a share. Wang Sanri finally regained his composure. The basic salary of Shaw Pictures is quite low, and to this day, it is only a few hundred yuan. Only when there is a job available, will there be remuneration calculated on a daily basis. An unknown director or actor may only earn 1 or 2,000 yuan for making a movie. At this time, many popular actors from Shaw Brothers actually have relatively low incomes. Are you true? Wang walked back on the third day and sat back in his seat. Shao Donghai smiled and said, do you think I'm joking with you? I'm sorry, I never joke. Wang Sanri said, I accept your conditions. Although his father Wang Tianlin is a renowned director of Shaw Brothers, I am still working for Shaw's until now. However, Wang San couldn't care so much anymore. At this moment, he is on the verge of poverty and madness. He needs a stable and well-paid job. As for whether Shao Donghai will soon let him make a movie, that is second to none. Shao Donghai smiled and said, you can come to work today and take charge of some editing work for the Flower Youth Comic Weekly. Subsequently, I will set up a dedicated film and television studio for you. Wang Sanri was even more excited and said, thank you, boss. He stood up and bowed. Shao Donghai said with a smile on his face, now, can you tell me a few words of truth? Wang Sanri said, it was Mrs. Fong who asked me to come and test the situation on your end. She wants to know the real situation on your end. I feel like they might trip you up. You need to be careful. Shao Donghai smiled and said, sure enough, my father still cares about me. Mr. Shao, I think Mr. Shao still likes you very much, said Wang Sanri, scratching his head in a hesitant tone, why do you dislike him so much? Shao Donghai smiled slightly and said, after 20 years without asking, suddenly I started showing goodwill. Do you still want me to kneel down and thank them for their conscience discovery and allow me to return to the Shao family? That home has never been my home. I have never had the slightest affection for Shao Yifu. So, this is not disgust. I just want to stand up straight and be a decent person. Instead of being a wagging rice bug. Wang was deeply moved upon hearing this on the third day. This young master, it's not worth it. He is obviously declaring war on Shao Yifu now. With this backbone, he deserves 10,000 likes. Mr. Shao, I swear on the third day that in this lifetime, I will always pursue you and work hard to help you achieve your ideals. Shao Donghai walked out from behind the table with a smile. He hugged Wang Sanri and said, thank you. Sanri. In the future, don't be so polite either. Just call me Mr. Shao in front of others, and just call me Donghai in front of others. Shao Donghai is showing goodwill to Wang Sanri. With Wang Sanri's joining, he feels that he has the capital to quickly advance into the film industry. I also need to hurry up and recruit artists, establish artist training courses, and sign in all the potential stocks from my past life memories. He wants to establish a huge entertainment empire. Wang left happily on the third day. He went to see Fang Yihua again and told him that he had only entered the Huawei group when he was recognized by someone and then kicked out. If you want him to gather intelligence, then naturally you won't be able to complete the task. Those who think this book is pretty good, please support it. Thank you very much. Seeking Flowers, Evaluation Tickets, Monthly Tickets, Collection. Chapter 8 Selection of Good Wives. Kuang Meiyun, Counting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. However, Shao Donghai continued to interview candidates. At around 4 p.m. in the afternoon. He has interviewed over 100 people. He personally interviewed, and basically picked out pretty good candidates. Shao Donghai has basically identified many candidates for important positions. At around 4 p.m., a young and beautiful girl knocked on the door and walked in. Shao Donghai glanced at the other party's information on the table. Kuang Meiyun, female, 17 years old, comes from a poor background and dropped out of high school. She started working hard at the age of 15. The position I am applying for is the front desk of Shaw Group. The front desk is very important. It can be considered the face of a company. So, this small position also needs to be personally supervised by Shao Donghai. Shao Donghai never expected it. He just recruited a front desk, but the famous Hong Kong star Kuang Meiyun from his past life actually came to apply. Kuang Meiyun comes from a very poor background. At the age of 14 or 15, she had to make a living in order to come out and earn money. She had to wait until she won the runner-up in the Miss Hong Kong Island pageant in 1982 to start her career and quickly become a sensation. This woman not only has beautiful and sweet songs, but also superb acting skills. Moreover, she has a strong business acumen. In 1997, when the housing prices on Hong Kong Island were at their peak, she sold out her property at once. She was fortunate enough to avoid the storm of the East Asian financial crisis. Subsequently, she decisively made a purchase of the property at the lowest point of the housing market after the Donghai financial crisis. This has earned her a lot of money. Kuang Meiyun is a bit uneasy. She didn't understand why Shao Donghai looked at her so silently. However, the gaze was clearly clear. She doesn't feel as disgusted by the gaze of other men. The young boss in front of him is tall, handsome, and clean. His smile is very charming. This made Kuang Meiyun's heart jump uncontrollably. Are you applying for a front desk position? Shao Donghai asked with a smile. Kuang Meiyun nodded nervously and said, yes. I really need this position. My family is seriously ill in bed. They need to spend a lot of money every day. Shao Donghai smiled and drew a cross in his heart with his hand, saying, I sympathize with your situation. However, our front desk only earns a monthly salary of 3,000 Hong Kong dollars. It's not too high. Kuang Meiyun has become increasingly fond of Shao Donghai. Because he is really too sympathetic. Kuang Meiyun smiled bitterly and said, a monthly salary of 3,000 is already a very good salary for me. To be honest with Mr. Shao, my previous job was basically only around 1,000 yuan. Even if you do 3 jobs, you won't earn 3,000 yuan. Shao Donghai pondered for a moment, pondering how to make the most of Kuang Meiyun's talents. Also, by the way, give her more help. Ding. Remind the host that the girl in front of us is kind-hearted, filial, hardworking, gentle, and beautiful. She is a rare choice for a wife. Please seize the opportunity. According to the identification criteria of women in the founding ancestor system, there are mainly several types of women. Black iron, bronze, silver, diamond, and the highest legendary level. Of course, in addition to these normal categories, there are also vulgar women, mainly referring to those who have a heart like a snake or scorpion, are greedy for money and profit and possess all 5 poisons, willing to sell themselves for money. Of course, human nature can also be changed. However, women who can change are basically inherently pure and virtuous. It was only because of being bewitched that I was unable to extricate myself from falling into the mortal world. Kuang Meiyun is a woman who has been systematically rated as a diamond. Now she is still perfect. This is quite rare. You should know that sinking to the bottom, working hard for a living, and being very beautiful, can easily become the prey of bad people. A 17-year-old beautiful woman who has been struggling in society for many years and can still maintain her integrity. It's not easy. Why else say Kuang Meiyun is a diamond-level woman? Shao Donghai has seen some introductions of Kuang Meiyun in his past life. This woman has rejected the pursuit of the 3 wealthy individuals. Even the pursuit of the gambling king cannot move it. So, it would be more appropriate for this woman to be a wife. However, her temperament is also somewhat rugged. In her past life, after winning the runner-up of Hong Kong's sister in 1982, she agreed to date and eventually married the eldest son of super-rich Xingyutong, Chen Ka-shing. But shortly after getting married, Chen Ka-shing cheated. Kuang Meiyun decisively divorced her immediately. Not dragging mud or water. So, is this a small flaw? Shao Donghai thought to himself that he should train Kuang Meiyun better and make her more obedient. Shao Donghai smiled and said, there is a position where the salary is better. I'm not sure if you're interested in taking on the challenge. Kuang Meiyun's eyes immediately lit up and she said, I don't know what position it is. Shao Donghai smiled and said, I am also recruiting a secretary now. Help me take care of my daily work. It is estimated to be more challenging as it will involve handling official documents, uploading and issuing, and so on. It's also possible that I need you to handle some things on your own. Chapter 9. 17-year-old Kuang Meiyun must seize. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kuang Meiyun nodded without hesitation and said, I am willing. The front desk only eats youth meals, without any technical content. But working as a secretary for the boss is different. You can even learn experience in enterprise management. Great help for personal improvement. This is also the main reason why Kuang Meiyun has responded positively. Shao Donghai smiled and said, very good. The salary I'm giving you is 8,000 yuan per month. Equivalent to the salary level of the chief editor and factory director. Are you happy? Kuang Meiyun was a bit unsure and said, "Ah. Is the salary so high? I'm afraid my job won't satisfy you. How about you give 3,000 yuan? Shao Donghai knew that Kuang Meiyun was probably worried that if she received such a high salary and didn't do her job well, it would make her boss very dissatisfied and ultimately lead to being fired. Shao Donghai smiled and said, "That's okay. I'll give you a monthly salary of 3,000 yuan for now. If you do well, I'll give you a bonus." Kuang Meiyun quickly nodded and said, "Okay, thank you, boss. Am I considered accepted?" Shao Donghai smiled and nodded, saying, "Yes. You can start working immediately. You can also choose to start working tomorrow." Kuang Meiyun quickly said, "I am willing to start working immediately. What is my main job responsibilities?" Shao Donghai smiled and said, "You can go to the office to help first. After our company officially starts operating, you will naturally know your job responsibilities." Shao Donghai wrote a note and put it in an envelope, handed it to Kuang Meiyun, and said, "You give this to Ms. Mainland, the manager of the administrative department." Kuang Meiyun agreed and went out. Mainland has been responsible for screening the information of job applicants recently, and can be said to be extremely busy. Kuang Meiyun was pushed over by her. She also felt that this girl looked quite nice, beautiful, and had a decent conversation. Although she didn't have a high education, she was very intelligent, hardworking, and eager to learn. When Kuang Meiyun walked up to Mainland, she was busy calling for the next candidate to come in for an interview. The next interviewee is also the front desk position for the interview. Actually, the interview is nearing its end now. "Ms. Mei, here is a letter from Mr. Shao for you." Kuang Meiyun walked over and said with a smile. Mainland nodded in gratitude. She took the letter and started reading it. The content of Shao Donghai's note is actually very simple, telling Mainland, "Kuang Meiyun is very good. He hopes to make Kuang Meiyun his female secretary. At the same time, he also wants to marry Kuang Meiyun." Mainland frowned slightly after reading the note. She has reviewed all of Kuang Meiyun's resumes. This girl comes from a very poor background. My mother is sick at home, and my father is in debt again. Girls from this background generally do not have good character. No matter how beautiful she is not suitable to be a wife. It's not much to play as a lover. Mainland felt it was necessary to have a good conversation with her son. "Ms. Mei," Mr. Shao said, "I can start working today. She asked me to help you with something first." Kuang Meiyun said softly. Mainland said with a slightly indifferent tone, "Can you help me organize those cover letters that I haven't had time to read yet? Pick out the ones you think are pretty good." Kuang Meiyun naturally quickly agreed. She immediately entered a working state. And Mainland looked at the conference room, which was still full of applicants. There are too many people coming to apply. It seems very likely that the interview won't be completed today. But since they have come over, we must chat with them for a while before we can send them away. Mainland arrived at the office where Shao Donghai was interviewing. When the applicant in the room left, she walked in. Shao Donghai naturally knew his mother's purpose. He smiled and said, "Mom, what do you think of Kuang Meiyun?" Mainland said, "Do you want to hear the truth or lie?" Shao Donghai said, "Of course it's the truth." Mainland said, "If you really have a crush on that girl, can we date for a while? However, I don't think marriage matters should be too hasty. My suggestion is, no matter what, you should be in the right shoes. It will be helpful for your career development." Shao Donghai shook his head and smiled, "Mom, your idea is outdated. In this era, it is no longer possible to achieve commercial goals through marriage alliances. Business cooperation emphasizes interests. As long as everyone benefits, there will naturally be no problem with cooperation. I carefully observed Kuang Meiyun. I think her personality is very good, and she is diligent, good at learning, and has a good business acumen. Marrying her will be of great help to my career. Chapter 10. Boss, you are a god. You are listening at novel full.audio. Mei Nation smiled and said, Son, it's not that I want to go against you. What insights can she have as a 17-year-old girl? Moreover, her family background is also very poor. Girls from poor families often have various personality traits, but you haven't noticed them yet. Don't be in such a hurry to get married, just take a photo and observe it. That's good. Shao Donghai thought to himself, this is the candidate that the system is interested in. I want to establish my ancestors by marrying and having children first, and then I can proceed. With this in mind, Shao Donghai said, Mom, I'm sorry I can't listen to you on this matter. You have to trust your son's judgment. A good girl, but she's very popular. I must confirm my relationship with her as soon as possible, even if we get married later. Mei Nation shook her head. She said helplessly, Son, you've grown up. I have my own opinions now. Then you can give it a try. I also hope there is no problem with your judgment. The recruitment process went smoothly. Talents were quickly recruited for various positions. Next is a brief training session. The training was also personally conducted by Shao Donghai. There's no way, the machines in the printing factory are all brand new. Even if the technical talents recruited were previously working in the printing factory, they have to start learning from scratch. And Shao Donghai, the colleague who received rewards from the system, also has detailed tutorials on machine operation. He learned first, and then demonstrated to the technical personnel on site. After trying a few times in practice, the printing factory could start working. And on the side of the Flower Boy Manga Weekly, editing and other activities require the use of computer software. This also requires Shao Donghai to personally teach hand-to-hand. Fortunately, typesetting software is not actually a complex software. Employees with an artistic background can operate it on their own, and once they have mastered the proficiency, they can start working. Shao Donghai was the first to take out 3 comics. Dunk Dunk, One Piece, and Detective Conan. Since it's a weekly magazine, that's to do serialization. Serialize 3 comics at once, with 1 to 2 episodes per issue. This can last for many years. Shao Donghai handed over these 3 comics to the editorial department of Huahua Youth Comics Weekly for redesign, reassembly, and editing. This immediately startled the entire editorial department. The chief editor of the editorial department is Lu Bingda, who was originally the editor-in-chief of another comic magazine on Hong Kong Island. That comic didn't do well later, with a decrease in subscriptions, and ultimately had to be discontinued. Lu Bingda is also unemployed. He applied for the position of Flower Boy Comics Weekly, originally hoping to attract some high-quality articles through his own network. He never expected that the boss would suddenly take out 3 comics and publish them in the first issue of the magazine. Does the boss actually have a manga author he is familiar with? After receiving 3 manuscripts, Lu Bingda felt a bit dissatisfied in his heart. I feel that my boss is young and not a member of the industry, so I personally went to invite submissions. I don't think we can find a real celebrity either. The quality of this manuscript is definitely not too good. With this idea in mind, he began to read the manuscript. At first glance, he was mesmerized. I'll go. These 3 stories are surprisingly very attractive. Or the kind that is irresistible. This is unbelievable. Lu Bingda excitedly went to find Shao Donghai and said, Boss, the 3 drafts you have arranged are really great. I don't know where the author of The One Piece, who is called A False Language, comes from. Shao Donghai smiled and said, Look at the authors of the other 2 books. Lu Bingda looked at it, good guy. Surprisingly, they are all the same author. Are they all lies? Is this too powerful? Can an author create 3 comics simultaneously? Lu Bingda said in shock. Shao Donghai smiled and said, "These manuscripts were all created by me with creativity and outlines, and I had someone ghostwrite them. So, you can also understand it as. These are all my works." Lu Bingda was stunned. Oh my goodness. Is this young boss still human? Ghostwriting or something like that is not a big deal, the key is creativity and storyline outlines. It's a bit scary to be able to create so many comic works in such a short time. Boss, you are the god in my heart. I was originally worried that our Fantastic Youth Comics Weekly wouldn't be easy to establish a foothold on Hong Kong Island. But now I'm not afraid. There are such great works here. We can definitely amaze the whole of Hong Kong. We can even promote such a great work to the world. Create a miracle like Jin Yong's novel. At this moment, Lu Bingda is simply full of enthusiasm. At the same time, he was also a bit panicked. What is the role of the chief editor? Actually, it's just about arranging a good draft. Collaborate with the author to improve the manuscript. That's good now. The boss doesn't even need to go to great lengths to request submissions on his own. Isn't it possible to just find a young person to replace oneself? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.